Welcome, everyone. My name is Lucille Karatzas, and I'm here with my colleague, Glenda Hodges. And today we are going to be talking about making friends as an adult. And I would like to credit Growing Bolder, the multimedia group that gave us this idea. They posted a recent, past summer, I think they posted a question on their Facebook page of how do you make friends as an adult? And so I got permission from them to use their ideas and some of the feedback. So I hope you enjoy what we have to say and can benefit from it. One of the things that I like whenever we do a presentation is to ask people to think about what we're talking about, how it applies to them, and to think of one take-home message that they can use so that when we leave and you're on your own, you have one thing you want to try to put into practice, okay? And just another reminder, Growing Bolder, their mission as a multimedia company is to portray older adults in a positive way. They are very well aware that the media tends to portray us older people as needy, complaining, and a lot of negativity. So I love the fact that they are portraying us as we really are. Okay, Glenda is going to start off by talking to us about this topic.
Great. Thank you, Lou. Good morning, everyone. So happy to have you with us today as we discuss how to make friends as adults. I would like to start by asking all of you to look closely at our first slide. Do you notice that our two little friends are handcuffed to one another? Yikes. Do any of your friendships feel like that? Kind of like you're being held hostage? If so, today we want to encourage all of you to avoid high stakes emotional drama with anyone that claims to be your friend. If it feels like someone is constantly pushing you to meet all their emotional needs, but never taking the time to focus on your needs, look out. You might be a hostage. Being an emotional hostage can start small and grow over time. Obligation, guilt, fear, or stress should never be a part of our friendships. We urge you to listen to your gut. Pay attention to your instincts. It's important to acknowledge and honor your feelings. If an acquaintance is coming on too strong, or you notice dysfunctional behavior patterns, it might be time for you to set some firm, healthy boundaries and stick to them. Do not take hostages or become a hostage in the name of friendship. Okay, let's ask the question, how or why do we need friends? One of the reasons might be because research is telling us that when people are dying, one of the most common regrets they have is wishing they had stayed in touch with old friends. Another reason to ask why we need friends is the fact that we humans are social beings. We're hardwired to bond with others. Our social connections are every bit as important as diet and exercise. Research reveals that over the last 20 years, adults are spending less time with friends and family and more time alone. According to the Surgeon General, this is unwelcome news for our mental health. He reports a lack of human connection increases our risk of heart disease and stroke also. He also confirms that chronic loneliness and choosing to isolate raises our risk of getting dementia by a whopping 50%. Studies have proven that those of us without friends are at the same rate of premature death as those that smoke up to 15 cigarettes a day. What an amazing statistic. Research studies also tell us that people who are part of a robust community tend to have lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol levels, and a lower risk of obesity. They are also more prone to exercise regularly and eat a healthy diet. Being a part of a community helps reduce stress and isolation because we have people to talk to and bond with. The National Academy of Science revealed that it's a mistake for us to believe that our partners can provide for our every need. One person cannot possibly love us in all the ways we need to be loved. Freeing our partners from this heavy burden will make lots of room for us to enjoy healthy, long-term, loving relationships. Next slide, please.
There.
There we go. Thank you, Lou. Every friendship begins with some sign that two people are interested in becoming friends. The first ingredient for making friends involves showing that we like someone and expressing openness to a friendship with them. How many of us have heard a preschooler ask directly, "Want to be my friend?" The key predictor of whether young children make friends or not is how they maintain shared activities during a play date. To have fun with a peer, a child always needs to behave in ways that other children enjoy. They talk about likes and dislikes, and they try to avoid conflicts. Kids want to be around kids who are happy and having fun. Sound familiar for us older adults also? Social skills are important for successful interactions, and our personality plays a major role in how we connect. Watching children mingle in the sandbox with new friends is very interesting. You notice one child hoarding all the buckets and shovels, unwilling to share, while another child gives all their toys to everyone that enters. You also notice when children are bossy, hit, kick, bite, or shove, they are rejected by the group. Children make friends easily while in daycare, school, camp, or on the sports team. They are molded by parents, teachers, peers, and society. As a result, they develop beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that will remain with them throughout their lives. That's why there's a lot to be said about nonverbal communication and how we relate to one another in today's world. Next slide, please.
There.
There it is. Thanks, Lou. This is a little saying that I really enjoy. It says, true friends, aren't the ones who make your problems disappear. They're the ones who won't disappear when you're facing problems. So true. Next slide. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with your friends. Do they enhance your life? Do you feel energized, comforted, and happy after being with them? Or do you feel drained, exhausted, and frustrated? It's important to recognize the difference in your reactions to them. It can be a major clue in deciding if you want to invest the time and energy to call this person a friend. Recognize there is a difference between acquaintances and true friends. What needs do friends fulfill in you, and vice versa? Can you rely on them and they on you? Can you be trusted with their secrets and them with yours? Are you able to be honest and vulnerable and not worry about gossip? Will you show up and be there for one another when you need emotional support? It is very important you ask yourself these questions. What are the qualities you bring to the relationship? And what are the qualities you believe a true friend should bring? Next slide, please. Okay, Lou's going to join us now, and she's going to add some important information about our own personal experiences.
Okay. So looking within so that we understand how we're going to move ahead. How much does our own personality contribute to making or not making friends? We all have unique personalities, our birth order, the environment that we were born into, whether there was stress in the family. Many of us may have been born during wartime with families struggling. Are there people who've had alcoholic parents or people in their environment that were acting in a way that was not supportive? So we need to take all of that into account as we look at what we're bringing to and what our expectations are of friendships. Who helped us? Oh, before I go on to that, one of the things that has come up quite a bit here in the villages is the difference between introverts and extroverts. In the villages, many people think that everyone's an extrovert. This is the place where everybody has fun and they're doing all these fun things. Yet, if you are truly an introvert, you may feel like you're being left out or that you want to withdraw some. And we need to respect the differences in people. So if you have a friend who's an introvert, understand that they may not have the emotional energy to put into all the activities that you as an extrovert might be interested in. One of the most important things about being an introvert is that they can go to activities, they can participate. People might even doubt that they're introverts because they're very social once they're there. However, the activity itself and all of that requires of them to participate can be very draining. And so if somebody says no, they would rather not do this, or they'll pass on this, respect that and understand that it may come from their need to set their own boundaries. And I think we need to respect that of everyone. So who helped us with our struggles, with friendships, with other things in our lives? Well, first of all, mostly our parents, particularly if we had good, healthy parental relationships. Our siblings, some of our teachers may have been a really strong influence on them. A teacher that takes the time to say, "That's a wonderful point of view, Sally," can lift a person up to a degree that they have no idea. So teachers and surrogate parents. Some teachers become surrogate parents. Some neighbors or an aunt or an uncle can have that strong influence on you. So paying attention to those people in your lives. When we were in the workforce, we may have learned from people, colleagues around us, our bosses. So our experiences mold us as to not only who we are, but what we expect from other people. Sometimes our expectations might be unrealistic, and we need to stop, think back when a relationship isn't going exactly as we had hoped. Am I playing a role in that? So looking at our past is really important. We can also borrow the wisdom of people who were positive in our lives. I have a special aunt. She was my husband's aunt, but she had such a strong influence that every once in a while I think to myself, oh, Auntie Anne would love this, or how would she approach this? So looking at people who are no longer our parents, siblings that may have predeceased us, we can still borrow their thoughts as we predict that they might have said something to us. So we carry them throughout our lives. In a little while, actually in January, TLC will be providing a new skills group that will amplify on this topic. So watch out for that. We're looking forward to having people try out some of the skills, some of the ideas that we're talking about today.
For those of us that suffer with loneliness, reaching out to strangers can feel almost impossible. It's so much easier to use avoidance behavior than to reach out and face the possibility of rejection. No one wants to feel rejected. If we're raised in families that denied our emotional needs, we tend to have a fear of rejection. When we were young and felt that our emotions were treated as an unwelcome burden to our friends or to our family, we learned to accept without being ignored and, again, just feeling rejection. And it's just not a happy place to be, to feel rejected. This type of fear, it's a learned emotional response that often makes us feel like we're not capable. We believe that we're not smart enough, maybe that others are better than us. It really can leave our self-esteem at an all-time low. But we can create a new mindset around this too, especially as we age. We need to understand that making new connection is a sign of strength and courage, a willingness to step out of our comfort zone, especially when we see the joy that friends can bring to our lives. Ask yourself, do I want to live my life in fear of being rejected and miss out on the opportunity to make new relationships? Stepping out might feel stressful and challenging, but it can also be a bridge to some lifelong friendships. Next slide, please.
So making friends may be very different than the friends that we made when we were children. We had many more opportunities as children. Some of us may have had more opportunities as children to have play dates and things of that nature. As adults, we need, making new friends may have some positive and negatives. Let's be honest, meeting new people can be strange and uncomfortable. What do you talk about? Do you have a connection? Is there someone that you have just met in a group that you would like to spend more time with? Excuse me. In the village, excuse me, in the villages, there are far more opportunities to have relationships and to try new things than maybe if you had aged in your home state. We have many more choices, but let's remember that these are choices. It's like a menu. There's all kinds of things that you can do to expose yourself to different experiences, different people, but don't feel obligated to join everything that appeals to you. Sometimes going slower and giving something a try is a better way of meeting people than jumping from one activity to the next too quickly. Respect that other people will make different choices. Just because I think this craft group is the best thing on earth, it may not be what my best friend wants to do. She may have other interests. Nice thing about having different interests is then when we come back together, we have something more to talk about. I can talk about my crafts and someone else can talk about painting. It gives us more to share. I think we already talked about the parents and who we turn to. But just remember that there are lots of people that we have met throughout the years that we can turn to model our new relationships against. What was it that made my friend Barbara of 71 years so close? What can I look for since she's in another state and I'm over here? What are some of the qualities that she had, that our relationship had, that I can look for in another person and cultivate? Many of us may be set in our ways. As we have aged, we have developed certain habits. Some of us are risk takers, some of us are not. Challenge the way you are doing things. The question I often ask of people that I work with is, I've always done it this way, is what they'll say. And I say, well, how is that working now? It may have been a really good way of interacting with somebody in the past, but maybe we need to rethink how we're doing so today. And looking at our expectations, when I think about how old my parents were when they were in their early 60s, and I'm into my late 70s, and I maybe I'm deluding myself, but I think I feel and act much younger than my parents did at that same age. And I think many people have experienced that as well. So look at ageism, what are our expectations? Are we buying into this whole idea that, well, I'm old, so I shouldn't expect to be able to do anything, or I shouldn't push myself because I'm old, I deserve to be quiet and relaxed and be by myself. And that may work for some people. But again, the question, is it working for me now? Do I have enough stimulation in my life, things to be thinking about, things to do? The more you enhance your life, the more you bring to a relationship and a friendship. Okay, and next slide. Glenda is going to tackle this slide here.
All right. Thank you, Lou. Let's look at how feeling lonely tells us a lot about the quality of our connections. We can feel lonely even when we have a lot of people around us. Research has proven that strong, caring relationships are the key to a happy life. So this is where your hard work begins. And it might be difficult for some, but it's a fact that you'll never meet new people or make new friends by sitting on the couch. Let's brainstorm some ideas that might help you connect with others. Are you willing to seek out those that have the same shared passions and interests as you? Are you open to volunteering and working towards a common goal for the greater good, while at the same time eliminating loneliness? Keeping your current abilities in mind, we all have our own physical things that we can and cannot do at this age, but if you can, and you're ready to join a gym or take a group fitness class, that's something that certainly is available here in the villages. Plus, one of the pluses of that is you might even just get in shape. Who knows? That's a win-win. So it's important to focus on our connections. If we really want to make new friends, we can't just say hi after our spin class and expect a relationship to develop. Let's think back to when you were dating. What did you do to make that initial connection? You had to talk. You had to ask questions, show genuine interest, follow up, make the time. So you'll need to do the same types of things to create new friendships. Be willing to arrange a weekly walking date, schedule a monthly potluck, a movie night, or a short getaway with friends. Be genuine and try to connect with old classmates, past neighbors, and colleagues. That history is still an important part of who we all are. We as therapists usually encourage our clients to attend at least 3 sessions of any new event before deciding whether or not it's for them. They may be tempted to bail after their first time, but we encourage them to return with the knowledge that each encounter will be new and different. Plus, showing up allows all of us the opportunity to grow. And while following all these new interests, we meet new people along the way. Okay, Lou, next slide.
Okay. And this is where this whole presentation began. This was from Growing Bolder on their Facebook page when they posted, "How do you make friends as an older adult?" And so I thought we would share these responses with you. Some of them are interesting, some of them are comical. So let's just go through a few of them. So people who responded said they would like to think that volunteering or taking a hike on a trail, going to the gym, going to the dog park, or taking on, fitness classes. Complimenting people on something to break the ice, then ask questions to get to know them. Be interested in others. You don't make friends in 5 minutes. It takes a lifetime. Sometimes you have a bad surprise or a good surprise, and you thought you had a friend. So take care of the ones you truly have. Share passions and interests. Go somewhere where there are people who love the same stuff you do. Simply provide them with a genuine smile and then engage in conversation. And again, Glenda was talking about that, being genuine, reworking your personality to fit somebody else's needs doesn't usually work out. People really respect being genuine with someone. Be kind and shine a light on them. I just don't keep the ones I have, says one person. And Glenda, can you read the last one because it's off my screen?
It's not interested in, someone said they're not interested in friends unless they're dogs.
I like that. Okay. Other responses included exercise class and inviting to join a book club with some of those people, meeting new friends in that group, joining a church, going to a gym, doing volunteer work, worked for that person. I don't want more because it may mean going to more funerals. I thought that was a very interesting response. Begin acquaintances and go from there. Again, not everyone you meet will turn into a friend. Most people have only 2 to 3 good friends. The rest of the people in their environment really are acquaintances. Understand the difference, as Glenda mentioned earlier. And we're going to end this with the quote that Bonnie posted when she invited you to come to this presentation. Friendship is not a big thing. It's a bunch of little things. It's a million little things. A friendship can grow by your kindness, by your willingness to pay attention to the other person's needs. Is their favorite dessert something that you can make and share? Do you happen to know that Dove chocolate's their favorite food? Little things, if somebody is not feeling well, making them a pot of chicken soup, that enhances relationship. That enhances friendships. They're not big things. I have someone who always sends me little articles that she saw in the paper or a meme that she saw on Facebook that reminds them of me. That makes me feel warm and fuzzy every time I get one of those things. So obviously, if I feel that way, other people will feel that way as well. You want to stay connected with as many of the friends as you can over the years. Those are nuggets of gold if you can manage to stay connected even long distance. Because you share history, you share so much with them. And then finally, let friends know that they're important. You know how important they are to you, but letting them know that is really helpful.